Big Jones the Juggernaut. Welcome back to Unleashed on the Night Shift. I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful day. I hope you're all having a wonderful Independence Day, because this is taking place on Independence Day weekend 2022. So whatever you're doing out there, be safe, have some good barbecue, enjoy some fireworks out there. So tonight, I want to do something kind of special. Actually, it's very special, because if you're just tuning in, we are at the apex of what we at the Jones house like to call the trifecta. The trifecta, if you don't know already, is a string of celebrations that all happen pretty much within a couple of weeks of each other. So we're talking about Father's Day, my birthday, which incidentally, if you haven't seen the Physique Reveal, I'll put a link in there in case you missed it. And then also our anniversary, which is coming up this weekend. On July 3rd, me and Mrs. Big will have been married for 10 years. So, big milestone, big celebration, We're going to do some get together, do some stuff, reconnect, have a wonderful time. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity to, tell a couple of stories. I mean, 10 years together, 10 years married. We've been together almost twice as long as that. Well, maybe not twice. We've been together like 15, 16 years total. But I thought it'd be a good time to tell some stories, some funny ones, some sweet ones, maybe some embarrassing ones. But either way, these are my top 10 favorite memories of being married to Mrs. J. We used to live in Arizona, and we used to go to Las Vegas a lot, probably like 2 or 3 times, I don't know, annually, maybe 6 times a year, maybe every other month we used to go to Vegas. It was cheap, it was easy to get to, we could drive, and we have a wonderful time. So I want to talk about the first time we ever went to Las Vegas. We stayed at the Tropicana, which, if you've ever been to Vegas recently, has been completely renovated and updated. So I got an example of who I was getting involved with very early on during this first Las Vegas trip. Like I said, we stayed at the Tropicana, and we stayed in this room that was pretty cheap. Back then, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so we had to stay somewhere kind of modest. And we got this room, and right off the bat, I knew this room was going to be shaky. We came in at night. There's beer bottles and trash strewn about the place. And, we're pretty understanding people. We're both in the customer service industry at the time. So, we went back up to the front desk. We were on our way out anyway. And we said, hey, can someone go and clean up our room? There's beer bottles and stuff. And oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we'll take care of that. So we went out, had a great time, came back. It was clean. So, hey, we figured no harm, no foul. Then the next morning, we get up, and man, it is blazing hot. I mean, we're talking Nevada in May, like April, May. I mean, it's already blazing hot. I mean, it's in the middle of a desert, man. I mean, it is smoking hot. There's no air coming out of any of the vents, so we're thinking maybe we got a defective room. So we call downstairs. Well, I call downstairs, and I say, hey, this room is hotter than hell. What's going on? And they say, oh, yeah, we don't turn on the AC in that part of the hotel until June. And we look at each other like, what? June? You wait till June in Nevada, Las Vegas? Are you crazy? Now, I'm not the one to make a big stink about things, because people see my big ass, 6'1", 275. They see me in a bad mood, and immediately they want to call the cops. So I try to keep kind of a low profile. My wife, not happening. Man, she says, baby, pack your shit. We're out of here. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. So I grab my stuff, and we go back down to the front desk, and my wife goes up to the front desk person and says, this is unacceptable. I don't freaking think so. She gave him an earful, and the guy was like, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. And he got on his computer, and he gave us some new keys, and we went down there, and we got this room that was awesome. It had this huge bed. It was all spacious. It was like a suite. It had a big tub, like a sauna, like hot tub in it. It had a mirror on the roof, on the ceiling. That was pretty awesome. I mean, that first trip was saved because of my wife, man. I mean, watching her go. I mean, she's got this great way that she can be diplomatic and very assertive at the same time. And that combination landed us a really awesome room, and we had a really great time. You ever have that instance where you meet somebody for the first time and all your problems don't seem so significant anymore? I mean, I know it's cliche, but man, when I met my wife for the first time, I was in this job that I hated. I was in this relationship that wasn't going anywhere. And then she walked in, and then everything else was like, that can wait. Let me get to know this person. She walked in, she had this beautiful red blouse on, and she had this curly hair and this big smile, and she opened her mouth and she had this Texas accent. Hi y'all, my name's Mrs. J. Well, at least it will be, and I'm here to teach y'all about cruising, and it's just, I'm like, I mean, seriously though, she just has this magnetic personality. I mean, it was evident from that first time I met her. She has this magnetic personality. Everybody wants to know her. Everybody wants to ask her questions and be her friend. It's like having your girlfriend be the most popular girl in school. It's really like that. Everybody loves her as soon as they meet her. She's just a wonderful person to be around. And I knew that from the very first time we met. And the first time we met, that first day, she was actually my trainer at this job I had in Arizona. We actually got stuck in the elevator together. And I don't want to say that I knew from right there, but I knew she was going to be special. I mean, I never could have imagined she was going to end up being my wife. But, from pretty early on, I was hooked on some Mrs. J, and I haven't let go ever since. I think one of the reasons why our relationship is so strong is because we both kind of came up from not having a lot, Like I said, when I first met her, I was in a relationship that wasn't going anywhere. I didn't have a lot of money. I had this beater car that was on its last leg, She had just left her husband. She had a young child. She was in this apartment that was kind of old. And, we got together and we made our lives better. We kind of built each other up, and we, slowly we're getting nicer houses, and we're getting nicer cars, and we're going on nicer vacations. We sort of built each other up. So one thing that we did, and just a disclaimer, a lot of these stories I'm going to tell are in or about Las Vegas, because that's kind of our hangout. So when we go on these Vegas trips, we like to just go to different hotels and check it out, just do the touristy thing. And one thing that we always like to do is we always like to go to the Venetian. If you've never been to the Venetian, definitely check it out if you're ever in Vegas. You don't necessarily have to stay there. It is expensive, but, go to the Venetian, check it out, walk through it, have dinner. It's a beautiful place. But every time we go to Vegas, we always spend a lot of time at the Venetian. And we always said, we're going to stay here one day. One day we're going to stay here. I go online and I check it out, and the rates back then, this is like maybe 2009, were like almost $200 a night. Like, wow, man, it's crazy. So back then, Hotels.com had this thing where if you stay 10 nights in a hotel, you get one night for free. They've since realized that people take that one night and stay at a $1,500 suite somewhere. So yeah, they stomped that out. And what they do now is they take the average of nights you stayed and they give you the average towards one night, which is bullshit, which is why I don't use hotels.com anymore. So, but back then it was awesome because you get one free night, no questions asked. So I used that free night and some money, because we stayed for a couple of nights, and we were going to Vegas and we were driving in, and I didn't tell her where we were staying. I was like, it's a surprise, it's a surprise, it's a surprise, it's a surprise. So I'm taking kind of the long way across the strip, and she's like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where? We're passing all the big ones, Bellagio, Caesars, we're passing all the big hotels, and then I finally make that right off the strip into the Venetian, and she's like, oh my God, are you serious? She some tears of joy, and she was so excited, and we went, and we were just like kids, bouncing around in that big hotel suite. That's how you found somebody really, really special, when you just want to impress them and you want to do things for them. When they become that priority in your life, that's how you found somebody really special. So when you are just willing to spend whatever it takes to make them happy, or go to whatever lengths it takes to make them happy, that's how you found someone really special. And I'm lucky to have someone like that. I know without a doubt I want to travel the world with my wife. We're still young. We're in our 40s, and we got a lot more living to do for sure, and I want to do it all with her. I want to go and see everything with my wife. I mean, going to see these exotic places, doesn't mean anything if you can't share it with somebody that you really care about. And with her, she's the best travel companion ever. So when we got stationed in Guam back in 2017, I knew it was going to be great. Even though Guam was kind of a trying time for us, a lot of things happened during that year. It was kind of a chaotic year, but still, man, one of the best memories I have on Guam is just that first weekend we got there. So we flew into Guam, and if you ever fly into Guam, it's weird. So the way the time change works, it's not like any other time change you'll ever see. So we flew from Houston. We left on Friday morning, and we got to, we connected through Honolulu, and then we ended up in Guam on Saturday night. So we lost like an entire day of travel. We ended up on Saturday night, went straight to bed, woke up on Sunday morning, like an entire weekend disappeared, So we're in this brand new island. We don't know anybody. We don't have any friends. The only people I have any connection to are people in the military, and I don't even know any of them yet because we just got here. So the first thing I do is like, okay, well, let me find like a McDonald's or something, and I got food for me and everybody, the kids, everybody. And I was like, okay, let me go and we'll rent a car and we'll just check this place out. We're all excited to be here. We got the babies, they were super young back then, like 1 and 2. So let's go and check it out. So I go and I rent our Toyota RAV4, and we just went around that island, man. We spent the whole day. We stopped in different places, went around the island, stopped at all the different beaches and little places that looked interesting, a couple of malls and shops, and, took pictures, such a great time, and that was just one of those things like, you stop and you think, you're like, wow, we're really doing it. This is crazy. We're a military family. We're overseas together. We're in this new and exciting place. And, and I'm with my best friend, the woman I love. It's just one of those times where you stop and you look and you're like, wow, man, I can't believe we're doing this. We're actually doing, the things that we always talked about, when I got in the military. I said, what if we're ever stationed here? And we're actually doing it, and it's just amazing. It's one of those moments that I cherish. I look back at the pictures. I'm probably showing you guys some of these right now, but it's one of those times that, I definitely don't take for granted, and it's one that I'll definitely cherish. So from something really sweet, let's talk about something a little different. Right now, my wife is, she's watching this. Her palms are sweating right now. So, baby, if you're watching right now, I promise I will be very discreet. I know our parents watch these podcasts, so I'm going to be discreet. So anyway, when I was stationed here in San Diego this was actually my first duty station back in 2011 to 2013. So I was stationed here in San Diego in 2011. We got married in 2012. So during those 2 years, we were married but separated. So, she would either fly out here or drive out here. I would fly to Arizona or drive. Or sometimes what we would do if we wanted a little extra fun is we would both fly to Las Vegas and meet there. Las Vegas is our hangout, so we would go and we would meet there. Well, this particular time, we both fly out to Las Vegas. We meet up. We're staying at the Rio. So great hotel if you ever been to it, man. And it's just, I didn't get out a whole lot when I was here by myself. So when we went to Vegas, we definitely let loose a little bit. We're getting drinks and we're dancing and we're just reconnecting after this long hiatus, and we're just having a great time. And it just doesn't matter, when you're with that person you want to be with, nothing else matters. So we have a good time. We get there, we get up to the hotel, and we're newlyweds, so we haven't had a chance to see each other very, very much. So, we're newlyweds. We're doing what newlyweds do. Okay. Sue me. So we're in the room, and, Big Jones, the Juggernaut's taking care of Mrs. J. And, in the middle of all that, the phone starts ringing. Well, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing for the phone. I'm not, whatever it is, it's not important. So the phone starts ringing, and the phone keeps ringing. It won't stop. And in the middle of the phone ringing, people start pounding on the door, like dun, 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 like freaking SWAT team pounding on the door, boom, 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 boom. And now I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, what the hell? And she's freaking out, and I'm kind of worried. And I'm like, okay, well, what the hell's going on here? So they're pounding on the door, and I'm just like, hold on a second, damn it. So I answer the phone, and it's hotel operator, like, hi, yeah, this is Connie from hotel management. Is everything okay up there? And we're like, yeah, why? What's going on? And the lady's like, we had a report of someone maybe being hurt or some kind of issue, some kind of problem. Is everybody okay in your room? And I'm like, yeah, everything. And I'm like, oh God, I see what's going on here. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. And again, I'm trying to be discreet. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. We're okay. It's just me and my wife. Yeah, we're fine. And she's but she won't let up. She keeps on asking, like, are you sure? Are you sure everybody's fine? Are you sure everybody's fine? And I'm telling her, like, yes, we are fine. Everybody's fine. Nobody's hurt. We are okay. And the lady, again, she comes at me. She's not getting it. She's like, are you sure you guys are okay? I said, yes, we're fine. We're just newlyweds. And when I said that, it clicked. And she was like, oh, I think even she was a little embarrassed when what happened. And, I'm just like, I'm sitting here stark naked, my wife's under the covers and she's mortified. So I'm like, oh my God. And the guys are still pounding at the door. So there's like so much stuff going on. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Let me just, baby, you stay. Let me just handle this. So I go to the door, I'm, naked, and I'm like, through the door, I'm like, guys, everything's okay, everybody's all right, sorry for the complaint, everybody's okay. And they keep pounding on the door. It's like, can we come inside please? Like, no, you may not come inside. Well, sir, we need to make sure everybody in the room is okay. Trust me, everybody is okay, please leave. And they wouldn't leave until they got it on the phone. So I guess when I talked to the operator, they called them on their little radio or whatever, said, no, they're okay. They're just, horny newlyweds. So my wife was mortified. I think it's hilarious. I think it's funny because I'm a guy and I'm a pig. But, my wife is like, why do you tell everybody that story? I hate it when you tell that story. And now I've told all of you. So, yeah, just a little piece of advice. If you're ever at the Rio, maybe put a towel under the door. I don't know. Do what you got to do. When you care about somebody as much as I care about my wife, the possibility of losing them is almost unbearable. This was another Las Vegas trip. So we're driving again from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Now, me being the military guy, I have, I always do the driving. I insist on doing the driving because my wife is a great navigator. My ex-girlfriend, she was the worst navigator. If you're going to sit in the front, you got to be the co-pilot. I'm driving, you can't be up here sleeping, and, you got to stay awake, and, while we're driving, and, so my wife has never had an issue with that. She's rock solid, nothing wrong there. So we're driving, and from Phoenix to Las Vegas, I have these checkpoints, so I have and again, being the military guy I am, I got checkpoint Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie. Now, checkpoint Bravo is where the story takes place. Checkpoint Bravo is a Chevron station in Kingman, Arizona. Now, if you've never heard of Kingman, Arizona, don't worry. The rest of the world hasn't either. Kingman, Arizona is a fucking dust bowl that's got nothing in it. The only reason I know about this place is because it's about 80 miles from Las Vegas. Don't quote me on that, but it's pretty close to pretty close to Las Vegas, and it's just before you hit Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam. So we stop there, we get fuel, we get snacks, stretch our legs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. At the time, my wife smoked, so it was a perfect opportunity to stop and take care of all this stuff before we hit Las Vegas. And on this particular trip, we stop, we're doing our thing, we're not rookies, we're doing our thing, and somehow I lose my wife. I can't find her. I fill up the car, get a couple of snacks, stretch my legs, do a couple of push-ups, whatever, but I'm waiting for her to come out so we can go. It's been about 15 minutes, and I'm like, I'm sitting outside waiting, and I'm like, oh, let me go back inside and see what she's up to. Maybe she's reading a magazine or something. I don't know. So I go back inside. I don't see her. I go around back. Maybe she's smoking. Maybe she's having a smoke out back. Not out back. There's a couple people around, but I don't see. And I'm starting to worry now. I'm really starting to worry. I go back to the car. Maybe she slipped past me. I go back to the car. Maybe she's waiting in the car. Not in the car. I'm like, what the fuck? This is creeping me out. So now I'm worried. I'm panicking. I'm making donuts around this gas station. I'm getting ready to ask somebody. I'm there. I'm freaked out. So I'm like, hey, have you seen my wife, the lady I came in here with? I'm thinking like worst. I'm thinking, and if you love somebody, it's only if you love somebody that you think the absolute worst. I'm thinking, have you ever seen that movie Breakdown with Kurt Russell? That's what I'm thinking happened, man. That somebody kidnapped my wife in some semi, dragged her into the cab of his truck and took off, and is going to ransom her off. Or maybe she got mad about something and left me in the middle of Arizona, but that doesn't seem like her. So I'm like, where the fuck is she? So I'm going around and around and around. And I can't find her. I'm going in the store, out of the store, back to the car. I'm asking people, have you seen my wife? Have you seen this woman? Have you seen her here? I came with her. We've been here about 15, 20 minutes. Have you seen her? Like, no, I haven't seen her. Do you want me to call the police? And I'm like, maybe. I don't know, Anyway, this goes on for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes total, the stop. I mean, it seemed like forever, but then she just kind of saunters out of the back of the store where the bathroom was. Hey, baby, you ready to go? I'm like, where the fuck were you? She's like, whoa, what's the matter with you? I'm like, baby, I don't know where you were. You've been gone this whole time. She's like, yeah, I was in the bathroom. Just, I was talking to somebody and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, baby, I don't just, that sigh of relief. If you ever lost your kid, like at a park or a zoo or a theme park somewhere, that feeling. Even if you lose them for like 30 seconds, it feels like an eternity. And then when you find them, you're like, oh my God, your heart stops, beating rapidly and you can calm down. Man, that was scary. And I was like, look, for the rest of that trip, I'm like, we're joined at the hip. You're not going anywhere, okay? That's when you found somebody really special. If you had that big a reaction. Because if it had been my ex-girlfriend, I'd have been like, oh, she probably left me. She probably got mad and pulled that I'm walking back to Phoenix from Kingman, Arizona. I'm like, good luck, honey. I'm out. So again, our anniversary is on July 3rd, and that's not a coincidence. Because our favorite holiday, unofficially, was the 4th of July for a longest time. Because on the 4th of July... man, we used to do it up, man. When it was just the three of us, it was me, my wife, and our son, our youngest, or our oldest now. He was our only at the time. Now he's our oldest. But we used to have these great 4th of July staycations. We were in Phoenix, and what we used to do is we used to go to a hotel that had a pretty high parking garage, and we used to just stand out there. We used to get like drinks, a cooler. My wife can hook up a cooler, man. My wife, if we're going someplace, she's like, hey, yeah, we'll stop, we'll get a couple of burgers, I'll get a cooler, put some waters and some beers and some stuff in it, I'll make a little baby, don't you worry about it, you take care of the accommodations, I'll take care of the snacks. And like, man, my wife lays it down. She's like the best. My son was never really into sports in a conventional way, but man, she would have been the best soccer mom ever, man. Like, she hooks it up. So that is one of the best memories that I have with my wife, is our 4th of July celebrations, man. We used to, because we go all out, man. We used to go and stand up on top of that parking garage in Phoenix in the middle of downtown and watch the fireworks go off. Because from where we are, we could watch like 3 or 4 fireworks shows going off all at once. And we used to sit and just talk. My son is there and he's just happy to be out. 4th of July's with the Big Jones family are awesome. So if we ever invite you, you better come.
I'm going to come.
They say that absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that's definitely true, The most uncertain time in our relationship has definitely been when I joined the Navy, because I got to be honest, I didn't tell her I was joining. I was talking to a recruiter. She knew I was talking to the guy, but I didn't tell her when I was joining. Sorry, I was having a little issue there. But I didn't tell her when I was joining. I just told her I was going to go ask some questions, but then I came back and I was enlisted, and she was freaking out. She was like, oh my God, you just joined? And I was like, yeah, I thought it was the right move. And she wasn't happy, but she understood, because I wanted to join the Navy because I wanted to marry her. And it was difficult for her to see that at the time. And I knew me joining the Navy was like all right, it's time to grow up. Because I know I can't. I know she wanted more kids and a house and better cars and better schools and better circumstances. And I can't do that working in call centers and these little bullshit jobs. So, like, listen, it's time to grow up. So I was like, I'm joining the Navy. They have all these great benefits and the pay is good. And I know I'm a stick-to-it guy, So that was my attempt to, show her the best of me. So, in any event, I signed up for the Navy in June of 2010. I left for boot camp in March of 2011 because I had to lose a shitload of weight. I was like 280. I had to chop it down to like 230. And then when I got out of boot camp, I was 210. So, but probably one of the best days, man. Oh God, it was such a great day. Was seeing her at boot camp graduation, man. Because she sent me a couple of letters. I still have the letters somewhere, and she put her little perfume on it, and oh man, you never know. You never know how much things are going to affect you until they do. But when I opened those letters and smelled the perfume, man, I could feel her touch. I could see her eyes. I mean, boot camp is only 8 or 9 weeks, man. But, man, when you don't see the woman you love for that amount of time, it feels like an eternity, So I saw her at boot camp graduation. I'm in my dress whites, and she's in this beautiful dress. And, she walks up to me. She sees me. She barely recognized me because I was like 20 pounds lighter. And she gave me this big hug, and she smelled just like her letters, man. And I was like, oh, God, that she is, that first hug, you don't hug anybody in boot camp, but that first hug and kiss on the neck, and it's just, oh my God, thank God you're here, And then we had a great weekend, man. It was weird because, we went out, we had that first Liberty after boot camp graduation, and, we're out on town, and we got Chicago deep dish pizza, and then we spent the whole day in the airport. I have another podcast about that, but yeah, we spent the whole day in the airport because there was nowhere else that we could go, and we just spent the whole day together, man. It was great. We talked about plans, and we talked about what we're going to do next, and I was like, well, we're going to get married when I get some money in the bank, and I'm going to make you Mrs. Jones, and it's going to be great, and it has been. So a lot of people, all these wedding shows and everything, a lot of people do seem like they're very materialistic when it comes to, their wedding, the dress. I got to have this big fat ring. And my wife, God bless her, she's never asked me for anything but love. She just wants the essentials. She wants the basics. She wants love. She wants to feel safe and secure, what a man should do anyway. So, if you can't do that for your wife, then I can't help you. So, at the time we got married, I didn't have a lot of money. The ring that I got my wife that I proposed with, was very simple, but it was always with a promise of getting, something better. And this year I finally did. I was waiting for a milestone, like an anniversary. I didn't intend to wait 10 years to get my wife a proper ring, but man, and plus I'm one of those guys that I research stuff and research. So I finally land on the ring that I want to get for her. It was a 2-ring set, and I didn't want to wait because I bought it in February, and I didn't want to wait for our anniversary in July because I'd be holding on to it. I couldn't hold on to it for that long. There's no way. And I didn't want to just give it to her arbitrarily, like on the couch or something. It had to be special. So we ended up going to Fogo de Chão for her birthday, that Brazilian place that we love, and I gave her the ring over dinner, and this was her whole birthday celebration. We had a great night, but I gave her the ring in the restaurant, and it was great, man. Like, everybody was looking, she was the center of attention, she's looking at it, and oh my God, I can't believe it. There were tears, and, everybody was looking and oh, can I see it? I got to see it, and, that was a great night. That was a great birthday. We ended up going out. I planned the whole thing. I was like, let's go out. We'll get a nice dinner and we'll do a staycation. We'll go to there's this rooftop bar that we love, and It was just great. That was something. And you know what? And the reason I bring up the ring, it's not because I'm trying to flex or trying to show off. The reason is because I finally understood the reason behind getting an expensive ring for your wife. And it's got nothing to do with, status or clout or anything like that. It's an investment. It's an investment in the woman you love. It's an investment in that relationship. Because when you buy your wife, a beautiful ring or a ring that you want, her to have, it shows her that you are committed, and it shows her that, because a lot of guys, like, oh, I don't want to buy her an expensive ring because what if we get divorced? Well, if you, this shows that you're not thinking about that. I mean, I'm not thinking about getting divorced. I'm not thinking about saving money for if we ever have a problem. I'm not thinking about any of those things. I am investing in my relationship. I'm investing in my marriage, and a ring is a very, very small token of that. And plus, she's my wife, and she's more than earned it. I mean, it's not like, come on. I mean, every day that woman, cleans and supports and cooks and, listens and, heals scrapes and, wipes away tears. I mean, she is a Renaissance mom. She is a mom for the ages. And she's an even better wife. So why wouldn't you want your wife to have a beautiful ring, That was the conclusion I came to. You can do whatever you want. You've got your own reasons, but I wanted my wife to have a beautiful ring, and finally buying it and giving it to her was amazing, and it's something I'll never forget. And the number one memory I have with my wife, up to this point, of course, is the proposal. Man, you talk about being nervous. So, 29 years old, 30 years old. And, I'm in, my first duty station. I've been planning this for almost a year now, over a year, because getting into the military, in and of itself was for us. So the day finally came. Like I said, I had a very simple ring because that's all the money I had, but I got a very simple ring, and I'm home from Corps school on my first leave. Okay. So I'm on leave for the very first time from Corps school in San Antonio. So I'm in Texas, and I fly to Phoenix, and then after that, I'm going to San Diego for my first duty station. So, I'm home for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and we're like, hey, baby, while I'm here, we should go do some stuff. I've got a little bit of money. Let's go, let's go get a fancy dinner, and, yeah, okay, great. So we go to Fogo de Chão, which, if you've never been, is a Brazilian steakhouse, with a churrascaria is what they call them, but it's great, man. You have these great cuts of meat and, buffet and cheeses and all kinds of vegetables. It's a really great experience if you've ever been. Any Brazilian place is really good, but Fogo is where the magic happened for us. So I've got the ring in my pocket. I've got this, nice little shirt on and everything. And she's out. She's looking gorgeous as usual. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? I didn't write anything down. It was all going to be just off the cuff, but I need a plan. I can't just spring it. Like, do I just drop down on one knee? Like, what do I do? So I'm wigging out, because we're eating, and, the night's starting to kind of wind down a little bit. And, we got the little one, we want to, make sure we get home. So, I'm like, how do I do this? How do I do this? So I pretend to go to the bathroom and just kind of regroup, So I get up, hey, baby, I'll be right back. Okay. So I go to the bathroom. I pretend to go to the bathroom, and I'm just kind of regrouping. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me ask the waiter. Maybe he's dealt with this before. So I got the ring in my pocket. I'm like, sir. I'm like, yeah, why are you hiding behind that fern? I'm like, just get over here. He's like, are you going to rob me? Like, no, just come here. So he's like, what can I help you with, sir? I'm like, listen, man, I'm sorry to bug you, but I'm trying to propose to my girl tonight. And before I could say any more than that, he says, do you have the ring? I said, yeah, I got her right here. He's like, yoink, perfect, bye. He's like, what? He just walked off. He took my ring and just walked off into the kitchen. I was like, oh, shit. Like, what if he just put it in his pocket and fucking bounced? I mean, it wasn't that expensive a ring, but still, it was my ring, man. What the fuck? So I go back to my table, and I'm, like, sweating now because I don't know what I'm going to do. So, I mean, like, you know, I just carry on normal conversation. We're just chit-chatting. We're kind of getting ready to leave. I said, like, oh, well, maybe we should get some dessert or something. I'm like, okay, cool. So this guy is a freaking mind reader. That waiter was an MVP. So what he does is the waiter sneaks around behind my wife. We're kind of, you know, against the wall in the restaurant. He sneaks around behind her. He's got a dessert in his hand, and I can see it. He's got there's a little it's like a little cheesecake, a little slice, and there's a strawberry on top of it, and he slits the strawberry and puts the ring in it so it stands up. And he kind of gives me the nod. He's kind of like, hey. And I kind of give him a nod like, yeah. And he slips in behind her, and he puts the cake right in front of her, and written in jelly, little sauce, says, will you marry me? And, you know, he slips it in there quick, and he kind of bolts. And my wife is, you know, mid-sentence when he does it, and she's like, oh, thank you. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. And she looks down at the cake, and she kind of does a double take. So anyway, and man, her face just lights up, you know, her eyes get big, and she's getting giddy, and she's holding her chest, and I'm like, oh my God. But now I'm like, oh shit, now I got to say something. Like, what do I do? Do I just let her take the ring? And I should have planned this better. I mean, I'm glad it turned out the way it did, but I really should have planned it better. So she's wigging out. So I go and I take the ring out of the strawberry, and I get down on one knee. And I just take her by the hand, and I'm just like, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I know my heart was beating out of my chest. And I'm like, just baby, I love you so much. You mean everything to me, and I want to go on this. I want to take this trip with you. I want you to be with me forever. I love you. I mean, the kind of things that I feel every day, you know. And of course, she said yes. You know, I kind of cleaned off the strawberry goo, put the ring on. Fortunately, it fit, and the waiter came back, and he was like, did she say yes? I was like, yeah. I'm like, all right. The waiter was cool. Anyway, we took pictures, man, and we you know, we're driving home, and I'm honking the horn. We're engaged. You know, we took pictures, put them on Facebook. You know, it was such a great night. You know, it was wonderful. And, you know, that's something you never forget. There's something else. There's a little epilogue to that story. It's a little bit of a trail end of it. So that night, we're engaged. We're calling our parents. You know, everything's great. And, you know, we're just kind of talking like, how should we do it? What do you want to do? You want to have a big wedding? You want to do it in San Diego? You want to do it in going to go back to Texas? Like, what do you think? Who should we invite? And, you know, when you get engaged, man, your brain is just on fire. Just everything, all these wonderful images are going off in your head, and like, man, that's gonna be us. You know, I can't believe it. And anyway, in the midst of all that happiness, I get the absolute worst stomach ache I have gotten in I don't know how long. My stomach, I don't know, it was that food. I mean, I did eat a lot that night, but I mean, man, my stomach just attacked back. And I was on the toilet, and I was like, oh, my God, I thought I was going to die. And I'm just sitting here holding my stomach, and it's going nuts. And my now fiance is like, baby, you know, it's late. It's probably like 11 o'clock. It's like, baby, let me go and get you something. There's nothing in the house. Let me go get you some pink stuff or something. Like, no, baby, you don't have to do that. I'm sure it'll pass. And she just put her hand on my shoulders like, baby, if you want me to be your wife, you need to let me take care of you sometimes. And I said, okay. You know, and she left, and she got me some stuff, and she nursed me back to health, you know, and, you know, I've been told that I'm a bit of a romantic, but I believe that things like that happen for a reason, because she's never stopped taking care of me. So she's my wife. We've been married for 10 years. I love her to death. If you guys haven't realized right now, you watching me at home, this isn't really a video for the channel. It's a special love note to Mrs. J. So, sweetheart, if you're watching this right now, I love you more than words could say. 10 years of marriage have been absolutely incredible, and I look forward to many decades more. I love you, sugar.